Libra. Hello. How are the Libras? Oh, to my Libra friend, your video is on the way. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your patience. My beloved, you know who I'm talking to. You know who. At the bottom of the deck, we have manifestation. It's an 8. It took no time for your messages to come out, like, for real. We have 71 with health, which is still that manifestation energy. And it is saying that for a long time, through influences, you have manifested your health. What you believe, you see. And that goes true with, that's how manifestation works anyway. What you believe is what you see. Perseverance did come out. It is a 4, but it was in reverse. And it's as if there was a cog in the wheel or a blockage halfway through on what to stand your ground on and with. And this has shaped the way that you have experienced health up until this point. Health in all ways, emotionally, mentally, physically, sexually, emotionally. Rebirth. 16. Yes. This is some powerful shit, Libra. There are certain things that you're understanding that don't require your perseverance. There's certain things that you're realizing you don't have to stand for or on anymore. You ride the car till there's 4 flats on it. Yes, that was your mode of transportation for a certain period of time, but it's no longer stable and no longer safe, no longer getting the job done. So would you still stick by it? And this is what I'm getting at is, if in the event you knew one tire was losing pressure and another one wasn't so good and the other one is losing tread, there's a preventative maintenance that you do on certain things in order to keep it all working in well condition. We don't wait until everything has gone to shit or everything has deflated in order to now inflict change or repair it. So in perseverance and you having the ability to objectively view things and compromise, you don't have to. It's certain things that you just, from here on out, you don't have to compromise on because you learned what that has meant in its detriment. So now when you do compromise, it will be for the manifestation of a healthier situation versus maintaining peace of one. It's okay to be on one side of justice where you have to bring down the law. You have to really lay it on and really let people know, no. It comes a point when that vehicle, that mode of transportation, that way of getting from point A to B has not even proved itself to be efficient or successful. And so there are different ways to do it. There are different ways it should be done. And if somebody else has been driving this force or driving this vehicle or telling you what's available to you, they've got it all wrong. You have more resources to your, within your grasp than they actually have to offer. So perseverance has been geared towards the wrong thing. And there's this sense of what will happen if I leave, or what will happen if I choose to do something differently. How would they fare? How would it affect them? You need to focus on how it's been affecting you. This rebirth is the vibration of a 7, but it's tower energy. It's a 16. It's really coming in so that this health and manifestation can get put back on course. The perseverance halfway through, it's like there's something that had your heart chakra just twisted and mangled. Why they keep giving me like car references, like car vibes, like you know, a car, period, it depreciates in value unless it's a classic and it's been gutted out and everything has been changed. Now it's vintage. You understand what I'm saying? But not every car that depreciates in value gets to the point where it's appreciated later on and been refurbished and things have been replaced. It is the constant upkeep of a thing and the health of that thing that really determines its value in the end. Because you can have a house that's dilapidated and it should appreciate in value because it's real estate and it's a home. But if it's not taken care of, it can be hazardous to someone's health to even, be in close proximity to. It can be labeled as what are they, not contaminated, but it'll come to me. So I'm getting rebuilding vibes, like really just restoration, because this perseverance has been towards something that hasn't even wholeheartedly been for your highest good. And this is where the rebirth happens. And these two, it does take the heart. It does take the root chakra through a metamorphosis stage, but to a place where you can actually see it for what it's worth, and therefore allow the change to happen, allow it to be, allow the guidance to kind of, this is like allowing that person to give you that ride and be like, okay, I'm gonna leave this car here. It's broken down. I 4 flats. I mean, I can push it, but the resistance is just too great, because there's, at this point, what can be salvaged. So even allowing it to be towed to a place where it can be salvaged, allow it to be taken to safety, to a place where it's like a neutral zone. This object, this thing, this place, this situation, this career, this relationship, this topic has to be in a neutral zone where either way you're fine with the outcome. It's not that it has to be destroyed. It's not that it has to be thrown all out. But you have to understand what was useful about it and what has really just dragged out too far. Like, there are certain things that are beyond repair, and no matter if you keep hitting this same specific point or fixing this one specific thing, it has caused so much damage in other areas and so much disarray that now you repairing this one thing doesn't solution or resolve the amassed amount of problems because of it. It's like, okay, when in my Cadillac, my driving back and forth, my long commute to another city for work, I wasn't checking my fluids properly, and eventually my car overheated. Now, that specific model, I'm gonna get a little nerdy. The header bolts were shorter. The tread on them was shorter, and the model cars that were made with those shorter header bolts were privy to overheating if not maintained properly, if not seen about, or maintenance properly. If you didn't know that about the car, you ran into the problem I ran into. So even getting the radiator replaced, getting hoses replaced, thermostat, it came down to a problem that wasn't even related to those things, which was the coolant tank being plastic. It had a crack in it. So no amount of coolant that I added No amount of fixing and replacing these other parts and the amount of money I spent remedied the real problem. And so I was persevering and holding on to this thing because to me it had value. But in the end, even with that one thing being replaced, the other damage that was placed, the stresses that was placed on the other parts of the car, really it came down to me not being able to hold on to it. Mm. Well then, so health. For health, I'm gonna get a smooth stone, a refined stone. Let's see what it is. Okay, we have the lapis for the throat chakra here. Perseverance, solar plexus. It was more of a, I want to say ego, not wanting to be a quitter, not wanting to let something go, not wanting to give it up, because of what you associated it with, some type of status or some type of station or position, even. In rebirth, we have. Ooh. Okay. So when I said these two were similar, that's what I meant. They're actually, this is giving throat chakra vibes, and this blue hue, and this is that purple with the amethyst that's sitting here. And I knew that the health and the rebirth, your whole body is going through a transformation. Very, very relevant to my Libra friend here, actually. And the thing is, because your heart knows better, this green hue of the heart is a lower octave of what the heart can actually do. It's only half staff here, but this is a full embodiment. This is why the rose quartz crystal on the heart chakra is so effective, far more powerful than like this green aventurine that would represent the heart chakra, or the jade. You know, those are very reminiscent hues. Those are very powerful hues and powerful stones for that chakra, yes. But a rose quartz, it has another level of abundance to it, which the 88 card in the deck is abundance, and it looks just like this. Communication here with the 33, with this solar plexus energy, is saying that you're really going to have to speak from a heart space when it comes to this. And even from the part of the heart that feels wounded, even from the part of the heart that feels like there's a sense of ownership with what you've gone through, because it's your experience. It's a part of who you are. Even if it didn't appreciate and value and become that novelty, become that antiquity, have that antiquity associated with it, even if it didn't get to that point of vintage and classic. You know what I mean? For when I think of Libra, I think about that classic love, that I don't know. I'm seeing cars. For some reason, I'm seeing cars. I'm seeing, like, with the wingtips on the back, and the cat eye shades, and the, with the top down and the bonnet on to hold the hair in place. I'm seeing real old school, old fashioned type of cars, riding, like driving movies. I don't know where y'all taking me, but maybe it's the perseverance on this Libran thought or belief, or it's an influence that has been manifested in association with Libra. And I've never associated Libra with this before, but when it comes to that type of vibe or that type of love or that type of style, it has a sense of, like, it has that fashion to it, kind of old fashioned and vintage, and um where the men are dapper and the women are, you know, I'm hearing giggling and like covering the mouth giggling, like a modesty, a shyness. Hmm. Okay, Libra. Let the cat out of the bag. What? Five of Swords reverse. And this card came like this. So when I saw it was a reverse card, I just didn't know what it was. Yeah. Less this and more of this. Mm. You're showing them less devil's advocate um and more, I don't even know who to compare it to. Yeah. See what the fuck I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Less devil's advocate and more keeper of the peace, or speaker of the peace, or oh wow, is that a position? But it's like you the way that you're using your energy now has, and this is to me the type of card, the type of energy that would combine earth and air. It would connect Libra, and I feel like this is Virgo anyway because we're of service, but this is really a Taurus related card astrologically, well, the way it was assigned. But I do see Virgo here with the service, helping, advising. This is a person who can do things pro bono. Who This is a person who is out for herself, who can, and they have had to learn the harsher aspects of Venus, harsher aspects of business, doing things at all costs, no matter who it costs, as long as it's not them, as long as they benefit. And I feel like some experience has tried to push you in that direction, and it hasn't fared well, and it hasn't really been beneficial to you. And your own energy is pushing you back towards, because defying, being defiant towards the Libran energy of being taken advantage of, and compromising where you shouldn't, there comes a time when you start to tiptoe into that Martian influence and that Aries influence where the self becomes predominant. And you still have a responsibility to be fair and to be balanced and to be just. And in one regard, something, it's like something has taken up so much of your time and so much of your energy and so much of your efforts that you didn't even realize what was happening. But now it's like a switch has flipped, and you're starting to come back to this homeostasis. You're coming back to this place of balance where you have enough for yourself and you can actually give, but in a way that you're not on the losing end, nor is another person or other people. So the way that you work, the way that you apply yourself to a situation, the types of things you do, you're doing so in a moderate, in moderation. Knight of Pentacles, moderation, quite literally is here. And this is yielding much benefit. This is bringing a lot of um, things you didn't know about yourself to the surface, as well as information that was actually kept from you because you weren't in a wholeheartedly stable mental or vocal position. There are certain things that even you have withheld from yourself because it wasn't time. The health of the matter, the health of your mind, the health of your body, the way that you um, use your energy had to come into a place of balance so that you can acquire the truth that is meant for you to have. It's like, we'll divulge it to you when you get these things under control, when you have a better handle on how to handle your mode of travel, your vehicle. So, like the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Swords, that's like putting tremendous pressure and tremendous energy on your vehicle, riding the horsepower to its limit, really grinding the gears. You know what I mean? And those cars tend to have more issues with transmission or handling or loss of control. You know what I mean? And so it's brought you back down to gear, and you know the basics, and therefore you're getting back to them and refocusing on what's important. It's either get there fast and there's some corners that have been cut, or get there in the time you're supposed to and do it right so you don't miss anything on the way. Do I want more? I see temperance at the bottom, but I don't feel like that's the final message. I love you, Libra, so I'm going to give you a little bit more. Okay. Two of Wands. I feel like it comes to a point where, and this is actually your energy. I don't know what placement, but it comes a time when you're not being asked to be the one to decide. You're not being asked to be the one to bring the fairness and bring the balance. You just be balanced, and that's all you need to do. You don't have to resolve everything. And so I did, I showed you the cards up to Justice, and I have the Two of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. You know what's worth it to you. And that's what makes the difference. You're using practical application of what you know versus just the mental side or just the informative side. And so it's like being able to read all these car manuals versus being able to do the minute upkeep of putting air in the tires or checking your fluids and different things like this. You have the Wheel of Fortune here. So finally, you're about to get another level up when it comes to your spirituality and the types of skill set that you have. It's going to be, I did see that Temperance card. It's like now the temperature is just right where this information that's coming in, it won't scold you or it won't freeze you. It's going to be the right mix with where you are. And I feel like this Health and Rebirth, how they have those inverted colors and the supporting crystals that go with it, it's really just, it's a cohesion that's happening here. It's a recalibration or a balancing that's happening. The card that fell face down, I think it's reversed, on top of the Wheel of Fortune. Oh no, it's upright. It's the World. It's like pass go, collect your $200. Like getting into a concert and not having to pay the fare. Winning something like a admission or something too. I'm getting, like, you get to go through the gate. You get to, there's something about what you've just gone through, and it pushed you to the limit. Where when you got to the Wheel of Fortune, you had made the right decision. Justice came in support of you prior to the Wheel of Fortune getting here, which usually the Wheel of Fortune follows. Justice follows the Wheel of Fortune, and you start to get the karmic payout or verdict after an action is taken that moves the wheel. But you had Justice here to balance you so that when the wheel came, because you always have attachment to your predominant energy, you always have that information privy to you. By the time the wheel came, it's like, oh, you did that already? You get to go through the door. You don't have to wait. And so you didn't have to go through you did go through the rebirth energy, which typically a rebirth is associated with death itself. But I feel like because the tower was imminent and the health, like you can sense this thing. You can sense that, oh shit, I'm about to hit a tower. Or, oh shit, the death is about to come. You kind of course correct and you did what the fuck you had to do so that you would not have to go through those jarring experiences. Like you're really taking the preventative measures, because persevering through something and um, rolling with the punches and waiting it out, you know that's not the best way to do it. You know that's not balanced. Even if it makes other people fucking comfortable, it has made you uncomfortable for so long, and you're heeding your own body's message and your own warning. Your signals are lighting up. They had been lighting up, and you reacted in a way that wasn't so forceful or so out of impulse. You really did take your time and took the necessary steps. So therefore, you didn't have to go through all those jarring experiences. Once it came to the wheel actually turning, just you it's like you did all your prerequisites, and therefore when it came time for the final evaluation, it's like, well, damn, technically you graduated. You really don't have to keep attending these courses because you know what you're supposed to know. You've scored high enough on the assessment. You really did pass with flying colors. And we have this energy here. I want to show you like this. Page of Swords, King of Wands reversed, and the Queen of Swords. And so that any Aries energy that I was saying that's very reactive is not just active, it's reactive to its environment. You have this Page of Swords here, and you have this Queen of Swords looking in the opposite direction. And I feel that you're able to watch your front and your back, and you have the knowledge of how being impulsive and doing shit at the last minute or holding on to the wrong thing for the wrong reasons, that perseverance in reverse can really cause you more harm than good. So you're able to keep an ear out for certain things, keep your energy like seeking the environment for things that are relevant to you, and is really in alarm to things like this. You're able to pick up on it because you've been in the energy before. You've experienced the energy before. And the only way that you know how to implement the practical application of it is by doing. So at one point, you actually had to be in use of this energy in order to know that it isn't right. And this is how you course correct. And you're no longer imposing that type of action towards anyone or any type of situation where you could tell them what's fair and tell them what's balanced and be the example of it. It would be forceful in a way that other people would perceive as spiteful, or that you have to have your way. So in presenting yourself in this manner, it's like, I know the errors of the past, but I also know what to look out for because I've experienced it firsthand and I've also done it. And so this is the way I can present myself with the knowledge of what I'm perceiving from my environment, as well as the physical actions or the impulsive action that you really do quell. You do keep this shit under control. I'm surprised I don't see the strength card here. You have a way of keeping this shit in check when you really could go slap the fuck off and snap and really just put people in their place, or lay it on very thick what is right and what is wrong about a situation. You're really not even having to do all that anymore. You really don't. Two of Swords is telling me that it's really just, let these be your two swords. It watches your front and your back. That's why the High Priestess is here, showing that what you perceive intuitively is what it is, and therefore you can act in that knowing versus reacting to a situation that's unfavorable. Now, the card that came out on top of the Page of Wands, Page of Swords, I'm sorry, Four of Wands. You got your feelers out for bigger and better when it comes to your environment, or and I feel that the way this energy is set up, these two energies are matured, even though this one can come off as belligerent or ill-intending or a misuse of power or authority, or their energy can be very potent and have people seething. And this can be a very matter of fact, don't speak unless spoken to type of energy, whether it's directed towards someone else or even you carrying that about yourself. I don't speak unless you're speaking to me, or I'm not going to speak on it unless it's brought up, or I'm not speaking to you until that type of thing. It's really, if you don't mention it, I won't either. But I'm open. You just don't know I'm open because I look like this, or I'm acting like this, or I'm presenting myself like this. This could have been the underlying current of energy that was being detected from other people about you, when really you have a balanced way of doing things, and sometimes people step on your toes with you doing so. And because trying to find that perfect balance, or trying to find that harmony within yourself, that perseverance is like, what the fuck do I persevere on? Standing this ground, or having this station, or being open and inquisitive? But see, this energy here is looking towards another opportunity, keeping the feelers out, keeping the radar open. This over here, it's like, because of the way you feel internally here, this has been your stance, or this has been your presentation to the world at large, in whatever capacity this once was, that you are actually leaving. And where you're going, you're considered more so a novice. Um, you're in a position of learning, and you're actually being welcomed into this environment. And there's no qualms, there's no terseness. And you really do have these, each one of these pillars here represents one of these guardians. Things have come full circle, but it's being presented to you, and circles would represent like the earth. I mean, not the earth, but like the sun, um, and things like that. Even though the world is spherical, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the archetypical symbol for the sun would be a circle with a dot in the middle. So that's kind of what I'm getting here. The circle and the middle piece, the circle and the person in the middle. There's a sense of protection. And then these four pillars here, they give a sense of stability, and the square itself would represent Earth. Meaning it's solidified. It is now a manifestation. It is right fucking here, right now. Where you can let your mind wander a little. You can let your imaginative ability just kind of flow, and you're not having to be on edge or so guarded, because what the truth was here, it felt like you had to defend it internally. There was a lot of conflict. It's like, cross me, bitch, if you want to, or say the wrong thing, or approach me the wrong way. And there's this energy of, they don't know what they're up against. They don't know what type of force you are to not be reckoned with. And it's like, okay, you're in a position where it's like, I'm just going to observe and see if I detect anything like that which I've already been through. And this is how the rebirth has changed you. This is how the health of things has transitioned and transformed, where it's not by your hand that fairness and balance comes. It's because within yourself, with this rebirth, with this health, with your knowing, it's like, I have to have it. I have to have it. I have to have it. If it involves another person, as far as a romantic relationship goes, I have to have it. Balance, that is. Fairness, that is. Not the partnership per se, I need the balance. I need the health. I need the perseverance in the upright position. I need it to be a well oiled machine. I need this functional. I need this to represent the inner and the outer. I can't be going through emotional turmoil internally and keep putting on a face outwardly that everything is okay. My in and my out have to match. As above and so below has to match. And therefore, the manifestations now start to reflect what you determined and manifested for yourself be made. So I'm going to have stability. There's no question. I will have it. You have 3 twos here, but you also have this justice card, which is an 11. It's a higher octave of it, and so that's an ascended master ability. You're linked in. The only card in the major arcana that's linked in with the number of a master, which is justice, which is neither animal nor person nor mythical. It's a thing. It's a scales. It's balance. It's universal. It really is a door between that which is physical and that which isn't. And so you're always teetering because you can see on both sides of the veil. Damn. Libra. I don't even think there's any advice here. I think they just wanted me to say it out loud. Oh. Like, just so you know. You're getting very intricate and very detailed with the work you're doing on yourself. You have a lot of Virgo influence here. Venus is in Libra right now, but we still have the Sun in Virgo, and that could be of assistance to you. Definitely, definitely. So you did come up in the Virgo reading, and if you're like my friend beloved, you have those two influences in your chart already. You're really able now to know the difference, and I think that's the first step in healing and health of. I mean, there's no cups. This isn't really emotional. This is between what you think to do, or what you logically know to do, and what you physically actually do and implement. There is no water here. There's water in some of these cards, yes, but there's really no emotional weight, except with the perseverance. I think something was kept being acted on out of sentimental value. But other than that, I don't think that this is a heart thing at all. I think it's just about what you love, not about emotions or romance specifically. There's certain things, even if you don't have it, you love some things. Like, okay, when I was talking about vintage and classic, there's certain things and styles that you really just adore. Ways of doing things, or environments to be in that are like really dope and really classic to you, and just have that poise and that style that you really have an affinity towards. And I feel like you're coming into it. But seeing it versus just thinking about it, being in it versus actually being a part of it, that's a big change. I won't say drastic, that's the word that came to mind, but Knight of Pentacles is here and Page of Swords is here. So you are asking questions. You are being observant. You're not rushing head into this new life, this new process, this new place of employment or neighborhood, or you've really done the necessary steps to be methodical about this and really keep your wits about you, where you don't have to wall up and fiercely protect certain aspects of yourself. You're in a place where you feel safe enough and knowledgeable enough to not feel threatened by the changes that are coming. I'm going to split the deck and see. Okay. As far as cups, here we go. This is some type of partnership and companionship, which you're naturally going to acquire in this lifetime, but the necessity for it wasn't here. None of these cards involve other people except for these. And this is like, if we all do our part, we make this whole thing what it is. If these two people weren't here to receive, this person would never be in a position to give. You have to be able to see it in that manner. If this person didn't decide to have a child, then this legacy would not have been what it was. You understand what I'm saying? So even in this roundabout way, it took more components in order for a person to have their own sense of what they needed and what was cooperative and what they don't ever have to compromise on versus how they can help a situation without losing steam or losing themselves in the mix. And even here, there's two people here and you're kind of like, I won't say you're a third person, but you're a part of a community. You're a part of you have a place to be where this justice is being practiced. It's being exercised on a regular basis. So when you have this energy here come in, the Two of Cups, it's in the fashion of a person who is actually used to using this Libran energy in its higher manifestation. So you'll recognize each other. Another two. So there is a pairing happening here. There are 2 8s and there are all these 2s here. So really, and it's bringing in these 10s in support of them. You'll understand why certain shit just didn't work and why persevering on causes and ideas and situations that really didn't deserve your input or didn't deserve your full attention, why it's necessary to withdraw and not feel any way about it. That's what I have for you, Libra. I hope this made sense to you. Because when I get on my tangents, I get on them. I've been talking for 44 minutes. So, I will check back with y'all later and see how it's going. But until then, take care.